Hi Cancer, welcome to your week ahead horoscope with me, Raphael from Reydiant Reality. It's an absolute pleasure to have you. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for joining me. So your first weekly horoscope of 2023 with me anyway. So this week you have the High Priestess as your key to the week card. This is your card, right? This is the card that represents Cancer. Yes, there's the Chariot. I know, but for me it's always this one. Anyway, I'm a little biased. You know that. You know that already. If you're a Sun, Moon, or Ascendant Cancerian, you know that this is my moon sign. So you are my lunar sister, brother, person. Now, for this week, your intuition is going to be on fire this week. And, in a sense as well, don't forget, even though, we're starting the week on the 9th, we are still in the after effects or the afterglow of the full moon in Cancer, right? So you're already kind of still sort of feeling that, and that heightened intuition or awareness is already taking place. Now, the thing about the Queen, Luna is the Sky Queen, but the thing about the High Priestess, this tends to see a heightening of intuition, but it also sees hidden things revealed. I wouldn't be surprised if this week you are divulging a secret or somebody shares something with you that's going to see you kind of say, okay, I need to down tools a moment just to process what I'm hearing so that I know how to move forward. That's actually a really good use of your time. And remember as well, in terms of the full moon, there was an opposition to Mercury. So I wouldn't be surprised if you have had some kind of revelation. And so this week it's going to see you really saying to yourself, or it could come this week, right? Very possible, because it is the High Priestess. But whatever it is, it's going to bring a sense of, okay, now that I know this, it's kind of like, when you have, I'll give you a good example. When you have a conversation with someone and they seem like really weird or really twitchy, and you're kind of like, and you feel really weird because you're like, okay, I know this person's hiding something or whatever it is, right? It could be anything. And then eventually they come to you and say, look, I really want to take you out on a date, or, surprise, we bought you a gift, or, we planned a surprise party for you. And it's like, so you knew something wasn't right, but you didn't know what it was. And so them acting weird makes you act weird, and then everybody's just weird and it's like uncomfortable. This could be one of those moments, but when it comes to light, whatever it is, you're like, oh, okay, yeah, cool, okay, everything's cool, it's fine. So yes, it could be a little bit of an odd week. With that said, I would like to bless my deck of cards with all forms of love, light, peace, prosperity, and abundance. And I pray that the messages that come through are ultimately clear and concise, and they help us all on our paths to our highest vibrational good. So for your key, your actions and options, should I say, you've got the Knight of Cups. So for those of you that have children, specifically Cancerian children, specifically Cancerian teenagers, this week there could be a lot of conversations with your teenage Cancerian, where you're really starting to understand how they think and feel about certain things. Maybe you're having, maybe they're at that age where you start having to have the talk and all the rest of it. But there is definitely an element here where your children, specifically teenagers, for those of you that have them, become a big part of this week. Now, aside from that, on a more personal level, the Knight of Cups in your actions and options suggests that you have an opportunity or an offer to give to somebody else. This might be where you're like, you know what? I'm going for it. I'm going to shoot my shot, right? I'm going to ask that person out on a date. I'm going to ask my boss for a promotion or a pay rise. Like, this is you potentially offering somebody else an offer or an opportunity, or you're deciding to take something in your own hands and go after something that you want. It's like you're not hanging back for somebody to give it to you. You're saying, no, you know what? I'm going to charge in and get after it. Now, in terms of things that you could be offering to people, this could be offers of work. It could be offers of collaborations. There's all manner of kind of connections coming up here. So it'll be interesting to see how it plays out. For your communications and conversations, you get this money. You got the 10 of Pentacles. Beautiful, right? So a lot of conversations about money, finances, and resources. Also, a lot of conversations about partnering or buddying up. It's like this week you're kind of saying to yourself, you know what? Yes, I can do this on my own, but actually it's going to be easier if I amplify it. So there is a sense here where you're kind of pulling in or potentially pulling the strings or the connections that you have. Which, listen, if you got them, do it, right? If you got it. Sorry, I can't help myself at times. Sometimes I'm like, I look back and I'm like, oh, why can't you just rein it in, man? Then you've got the High Priestess coupled with the Ten of Pentacles. So for those of you that are studying or in some form of academia, I wouldn't be surprised if your school, your college, your university, maybe they pull you aside and say, look, just in case you don't know, there is a bursary or there's something available to you that maybe isn't common knowledge. I would also be, mindful here around your living situation. And when I say mindful, not because there's any issues, but this might be where a parent comes to you and says, look, you know what, if you want to stay home while you're studying, we can look at that. Or if you need some financial assistance with your situation. You've also got the Knight of Pentacles here as well. So again, this might be you kind of saying, okay, you know what, it's time to bring new people in. Maybe you're saying, you know what, I'm not going to live on my own. I'm actually going to diversify and therefore I'm going to sort of halve the bills, etc. For those of you that are employed by somebody else, could be conversations about pay rises. Absolutely, you could be, generating that or making it happen. But there could also be a conversation around pay rises, finances, resources of the company, or even promotions that are being had in secret. So maybe again, you're being pulled aside to say, listen, we do want to start thinking about ways to advance you or to give you more money, etc. But it's gonna, it's a delicate matter. Remember, it's just the start of the year. So, this is always a weird, shaky financial time for most companies, and everybody's looking for extra money. So it's like, if it's kind of like one of those things where if they say it out loud, everyone's gonna be like, yeah, I want that extra money. So it's almost like it's a bit on the hush hush for now anyway. As a business owner, entrepreneur, solopreneur, people that work for themselves, I really like this for some of your ideas, that you're working on now for your future. Could actually be very lucrative for you, especially if they center around, partnering up, buddying up, working with somebody else. I really like this for a lot of you as well, for the things that you're crafting behind the scenes. It's like you're doing it and you're doing it really well. Like whatever you're building or creating, it's built to last. For those of you that are retired and no longer working, this for you guys, I actually feel like this might, and I said this I think in the year ahead videos for you guys, I can't be 100% sure because that was many readings and many moons ago at this point, but I feel like this year and particularly this week, you're going to start to work on investing, stocks, shares, bonds, portfolios, all of that kind of stuff. I feel like a lot of you are really starting to dig into this year, and it's like it starts now, right? Like really early. A lot of you are like, okay, how do I increase my money using these things, these tools? So, if you're even if you're not working and you don't have a job at the moment and it's just time that you've got, don't just spend all of it looking to get straight back into work. Spend some of this time to really educate yourself on the world of finance. For your love and relations, you've got the Hermit card. Okay, so for those of you that are partnered, married, or in long-term commitments, this is you and your significant other kind of stealing away. Alright, so maybe you're like, oh, you say to the kids like, oh, we've got a really important trip that we need to take, and actually you're just taking a day out for yourselves and dropping them at the grandparents, right? It is possible though, because you've got this as well with the Ten of Pentacles. It is possible that for those of you that are partnered, you could be sort of really drilling down on the budget, the finances, the resources. it makes sense that you're doing that at this time of the year, right? And interestingly enough, yours is the only sign that's had that message. Everybody else seems to be looking at way different things. So I'm intrigued. For those of you that are single, it's not so much that you're not meeting anyone or there's no possibility. It just kind of suggests it's not a priority for you. And so you might be surprised to find out that you will probably be interacting with someone this week, but the chances are there'll be an age gap between you of at least 5 years, you know, so 5 years either way, whether this is you 5 years older than them or younger than them, there'll definitely be an age group. But this person really does, they have what you need to advance yourself, and the connection is solid. So it might, you know, it might be something that starts as a relationship but develops into a friendship or a business connection. It might be vice versa. For your money and materials, you've got the Ace of Wands. Love this. So it's not just that you're having great ideas for the future or that you're having great conversations around future resources, you're backing them up with action. Remember that Mars and Mercury are currently retrograde, so you don't want to go too fast. But that Ace of Wands, yeah, it's there and it's available to you, providing you're willing to do the work and the effort now, which is great. When it comes to your physical health and vitality, I love the Ace of Wands for this, because this is you jumping in. For a lot of you as well, if you're on a health regime, weight loss journey, etc., or anything like that, this week it looks like you really are putting a solid plan in place that is really going to improve all of these things for you, and you're getting to it, like in that slow, steady, sustained action. But the action is the important part. When it comes to your home and environment, it looks like a lot of you are on a serious cleaning spree this week. If you can do that with a significant other, maybe that's what you're doing for some of you. Maybe you're just dropping the kids at the parents and you're just going to give the house a proper, just good clean and zhuzh up, sit with your feet on the sofa without a million toys all over the place and just be like, you know, like you're having a little bit of we time, but on an adult level. And I actually think that every so often it's actually a good thing to do. With that said, I wish you an abundance of all of that good stuff. Have a fantastic week. Let me know in the comments how it shapes up. Take care, and I'll see you soon.